I remember sitting at home while my daughter was playing with her Lego on the floor, and 7 figures had just hit my account. I'd never seen such a large number in my account ever. And guess what? I felt nothing. No fireworks, no celebration, just this hello emptiness in my chest. And in that moment, I realized I'd made a mistake that cost me years of my life. Not the sale, it's what I'd been chasing the whole time. And here's what nobody tells you about building a business to exit. You spend years, literally years, grinding, waking up at 5 a.m., missing dinners, missing family events, not being mentally present with your loved ones, telling yourself, when I exit, then I'll be happy. When I hit that number, then I'll feel successful. When I cash out, then I'll finally relax. And you build your whole identity around this future moment, this imaginary finish line. I see it constantly with the founders and entrepreneurs I work with. Entrepreneurs who've built something real, revenue flowing, team growing. And guess what? Many of them are miserable because they've attached their entire sense of self-worth to an outcome they can't control. They've made the exit the point and the business just a vehicle to get there. The problem isn't ambition. The problem is building a life you need to escape from. The problem is treating wealth like a destination instead of a byproduct. And I know this because I did exactly that for years. I built and exited multiple e-commerce brands, some of them for 7 figures. And along with my team, I've overseen transactions totaling over $200 million through my consulting work. And I've sat across table from buyers, negotiated deals, watched founders walk away with life-changing money. And I've seen what happens after, the ones who thrive and the ones who fall apart. Before all of this, I was a maths teacher, and previously I'd worked at BlackRock and other investment institutions. So I've seen wealth from every angle, the theory, the institutional side, and the entrepreneurial trenches. And what I'm about to share with you took me a decade to understand, and I'm going to save you that time. So here's the first lesson. The exit doesn't fix you. I thought the exit would validate everything, all the sacrifice, all the stress, all the moments I chose the business over my family. And I thought I'd finally feel like I'd made it. Instead, unfortunately, it's very sad to say, I felt lost when I exited and had those 7 figures in my account. Because when your identity is the guy building the business and the business is gone, who are you, right? The money hit my account, and within 2 days, I was anxious, restless, looking for the next thing. And I actually started my next brand within 2 days. Not because I needed it financially, because I needed it emotionally. I'd spent years running toward a finish line. And when I crossed it, I realized the race was the only thing giving me purpose. And here's what I wish someone had told me. The exit amplifies who you already are. Money amplifies who you already are. So if you're unfulfilled before, you'll be unfulfilled after. If you were generous before, you'll be generous afterwards. Just, with more zeros in your bank account. The work isn't building the business. The work is building yourself while you build the business. And here's lesson number 2, process over outcome. After that first exit, I started my next business immediately and differently. I stopped asking, what will this be worth in 3 years? And started asking, do I want to wake up and do this tomorrow? Sounds simple, but it changes. When you're outcome obsessed, every day is just a step toward somewhere else. You're never present. You're always in the future. And ironically, that makes you worse at building because you cut corners, you optimize, you over-optimize for what looks good to buyers instead of what's actually good for you and your future. When you fall in love with the process, the problem solving, the team building, the craft of it, something shifts. You make better decisions, you attract better people, and paradoxically, you build something more valuable because buyers can smell desperation. Just last night, I was on a call with some buyers who were looking to buy one of my brands, and because of the way I'm now building my businesses and my brands, they could sense something different. And here's what they had to say. Actually, I caught a snippet of the call.
Our biggest concern when we run across somebody spending as much as you're spending on Meta is that it's very inefficient, right? But you're tracking the right metrics to make sure that's not the case. Any thoughts or insights on the Amazon side, what you're doing on PPC there?
Yeah, PPC is working well. Our ACOS, our TACOS, all those numbers are on point, but I'm remiss to not say that our Shopify or our marketing efforts in general for Shopify doesn't have a massive impact on our Amazon efforts. A lot of customers see our ads, browse our store, and then they've got Prime, so they go to checkout on Amazon.
Right. So they may be picking you up from Amazon and purchasing on Amazon, even though you spent the dollars, which is, from an Amazon PPC standpoint, is wonderful to have that.
So listen, buyers can feel when someone's just trying to cash out versus someone who's built something they actually believe in. And here's lesson number 3. Define wealth before you chase it. I grew up with a very specific idea of success, a big number, visible status, the kind of wealth that other people notice. And I achieved that. And to be honest, it meant nothing because I'd never stopped to ask, what is wealth actually for? For me now, wealth is time with my family, is being able to give back to my community, to be able to retire my parents, to be able to invest in people who don't have capital, who were in my shoes when I first got started 10 years ago. It's being able to say no to opportunities that don't align with my values. It's building something that serves my people, that I can be proud of, that reflects who I actually am on the inside. The number is just a tool to enable that. Most entrepreneurs have never defined what enough looks like. So they keep chasing. They hit the number, move the goalpost, hit it again, move the goalpost again. It's a treadmill. The exit doesn't get you off the treadmill. Clarity does. And here's lesson number 4. The quality of the journey determines the quality of the destination. Here's something I've noticed after working with hundreds of founders. The ones who are happiest after their exit, they were happy before it too. They built businesses they enjoyed running. They maintained relationships. They took care of their people. They took care of their health. They didn't sacrifice everything on the altar of the exit. The ones who are miserable after, well, they treated a business like a prison sentence. They had to endure to get to freedom. And then they got their freedom and didn't know what to do with it because they'd spent years practicing being unhappy. So how do you do anything? And here's what Aristotle said: how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're miserable building it, you'll find a way to be miserable after selling it. The exit just gives you more resources to continue whatever pattern you've already established. And here's lesson number 5. Build for legacy, not just liquidity. I'm Somali, I'm Muslim, I'm a first generation entrepreneur in my family. And for a long time, I kept those parts of myself separate from my business. And I thought I had to fit a certain mold to succeed. After my exit, I realized I'd built something that made money, but didn't make meaning. It didn't represent me. It didn't serve my community. It was just a transaction. And that's part of why it felt so empty. Now I build differently. I build businesses that align with my values. No interest-based financing, ethical practices, serving people, solving real problems, making the customer the primary focus of the product I'm trying to build. And you know what? It's more fulfilling and more profitable because authenticity attracts, purpose compounds. So if you're watching this and you're in the grind right now, building towards some future exit, I want you to ask yourself one question. If the exit never comes, would this still be worth it? Would you still be proud of how you spent these years? If the answer is no, that's not a business problem. That's a life problem. And no amount of money will solve it. The goal isn't to build a business you can escape from. It's to build a business and a life you don't want to escape from. The exit should be a bonus, not a rescue mission. If this hits home for you, subscribe. I talk about building wealth with purpose, the stuff nobody tells you about entrepreneurship, e-commerce, exits, and what actually matters on the other side. And drop a comment telling me, what does wealth actually mean to you? Not the number, the life. I read every single comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.